Yeah, man.
Can you read back that text that you did during traffic?
Yeah, man. It says, I've been dating my fiance, which I thought was weird because they only said for 6 months. Not sure what that means, but
well, I mean, how long did it take you to get engaged? It took you quite a while.
Yeah, well, 14 years. Right. Just had to make sure, Just had to make sure.
You got to check the engine. You got to make sure everything's good.
Yeah, man. The sexer says she's scared to introduce me to her parents. What should I do? Is that a red flag? My response, stay a side piece, dude. Life will be a lot easier.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go. I got good advice. 786-360-0790. I got advice for days.
All right. That's pretty wild. That's wild.
Yeah, if anybody needs that advice, I got that hot advice.
Is it responsible for me to read this text on Tyler Van Dyke?
I was trying to figure out the validity of it, and
I don't even know if it's real or not.
Nah, let's just spew stuff. That's what we do.
It's a texter. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it's just a texter.
Not sure if you've mentioned this, but I was discussing this briefly with Barry Jackson last night, and I just want to say because I respect Barry Jackson very much. I didn't see any of this on Twitter, so I don't know where he was discussing this. Is Barry Jackson still doing the live chat?
I'm not sure.
Did he see Barry Jackson at the Panera Bread?
Maybe they're friends.
So he says, and I was shocked. There's some internal rift with TVD and the coaching staff.
You know why?
He goes, how is it close to coming off this loss? And then he has the Hard Rock Stadium collegiate atmosphere. And then it like goes all wacky. Let me see. Oh, and the aspect of Lashley's offense he prefers and wouldn't mind seeing something implemented. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I would say he hasn't looked fantastic to start the year, and I think that Tyler Van Dyke likes to chuck the ball down the field. That's definitely not what the MO of this team has been so far. The weapons haven't been good, so I don't know if there's a rift. Or anything like that, but it's been one of these things that's like I could if it is true, I could see where that would be a thing, especially if you're going into a big year.
No, you can't. The only reason why this is a problem because he's looked like crap.
That's why I could see it being a thing.
Oh, okay. Here's the deal. I could agree with him if he had played well and he felt like he should be doing more. Mm-hmm. Okay? But if they're running plays that should be successful, maybe not to the level that he wants, or maybe not the shots he wants to take down the field, but they are successful and he's not executing them.
I think the thing that I would find surprising about that, though, is why there wouldn't be conversation with Tyler. Because I thought Cristobal, like he said, part of the reason that he was attracted to the Miami job, other than the money and it being a dream job, is because of the quarterback. Like he was, impressed with Tyler Van Dyke. People, had first round buzz about Tyler Van Dyke coming into the year. So I would be surprised that they wouldn't do things that he found made him comfortable. But I also don't think.
Hold on. This is second year in college.
It's his third year on the team.
Third year on the team. We don't. College doesn't do things to make people comfortable. They do things to win. Now, if what you would like to do gives the team a better chance to win, they're probably already on it. But for a player in college to have any of those thoughts as if he knows better, usually is a player that's talking about a team that's losing.
I get that, Leroy, but I would say going into this year, if we were going to say what are going to be the things that help lead the Canes to success, like he would have been the reason for it.
Did he have the same setup last year?
The skill guys were better last year, had more speed on the outside.
But
for sure.
Same offense.
No, not the same offense. Not at all.
Same offense.
No, it was Rhett Lashley's offense. And I think that's part of the thing is you bring in Josh Gaddis. But you said this coming in, like that was, what was Michigan last year?
They ran the ball and threw it second-handed because They didn't have that quarterback. They didn't have a TVD, right? They didn't have that guy who you can give the ball to and say, go throw for 300. So their team was built around the run game.
And I would say that with this quarterback, that he can throw 300. He likes to chuck the ball down the field.
Right.
But it was a team last year that, like, when he came in, it didn't have a lot of consequences. Like, we kind of saw the writing was on the wall. Mm-hmm. He could kind of play a little bit more willy-nilly, and this definitely seems like a coaching staff that's trying to play more within a system. Cristobal is kind of known as a conservative guy by nature as it is.
Here's the other problem.
I also don't and by the way, it's not all coaching, because I don't think he's looked particularly good.
Right. So let's start there. See, as an athlete, I really don't think you have a right to complain about what's being done if you're not doing that well.
Which, again, I want to say is alleged by a texter. I don't know that he's complaining.
Right. I got you.
But I'm with you. Yes, I think that ultimately, I don't think that he has played up to his capabilities. I don't think he's played that great.
And let's look at it this way. Did Minka Fitzpatrick not want to be with the Dolphins because they were losing or because of what he was doing?
Because they were losing.
Okay. You see what I'm saying? It's funny how we like to think that we're focused on the big picture, but the fact of the matter is that losing is no fun.
Texter writes in, I believe it. If Mario field goal ball can make Justin Herbert look pedestrian, then he can sure make Tyler Van Dyke look bad.
I mean,
field goal ball
does have a point. If Justin Herbert was at a different university, will we think differently of Justin Herbert? Because everybody was calling him the second coming of Ryan Tannehill.
People are saying about Rhett Lashley, he's putting up 40 a game. They have 11th ranked offense at SMU. Yeah, Rhett Lashley that was a big thing. He brought a high paced, offense. Now the team couldn't stop a nosebleed.
That wasn't on him though.
That wasn't on him.
Right.
He wasn't gonna. He didn't think Rhett Lashley was gonna stick around. Like, Cristobal was gonna bring in his own guy. And look, Josh Gaddis was he was assistant coach of the year last year.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised they plucked him away from Michigan, to be honest with you.
Money talks.
Yeah. Well, I know, but it's Miami money. Like, that's the thing that made it surprising. I always feel like
the contract is a contract. It don't matter whether that's an internal thing that you have the money to go get that guy. The guy that's coming in, all he sees is the money. He don't know how much you spent before now and what commitment you have to it.
I just think the thing that surprised, I think, Canes fans, first of all, is a very weird start to the year. Okay. I can't remember a year recently where it started with, 3 barely college football teams with a road game in the SEC. Like, it's a very strange start to the schedule for them.
Right.
So it's kind of I feel like it's hard to evaluate other things, but I do look back on the Texas A&M game and think to myself, they should have won that game.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
And I think that's very disappointing, because when you bring in a Mario Cristobal, you're bringing in more discipline, you're bringing in credibility, and it felt like they played a very undisciplined game and lost that game for the wrong reasons.
Right.
So,
and not to mention, you not only lost to Texas A&M, you lost to Texas A&M and only scored 9 points.
Right.
With 2 of their best players getting kicked out of the game in the first half.
Oh, dude, I'm glad you mentioned that. Can I just say, and I feel like this is a good time to mention it because it's not a Canes thing. I don't sound like a bellyacher. That remains the thing in sports I hate the most. I hate targeting. It's the most egregious overkill penalty there is.
You're
Kick a guy out of the game.
You're asking people who make a tackle to aim at a moving target.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Like, you kick a kid out of the game in a contact sport like that. I think we can know what the ones are real malcontents or real. every time I see this, it's a kid just trying to make a tackle, and they're like, out of the game.
Yep.
Are you effing kidding me? I know like Amari Carter was like, he had more targeting on his resume than anybody, but I just think it's such an overreach of a penalty. Come on.
Especially in college when you don't have a whole room full of all pros or whatever. You lose one player because of a misplacement of a helmet, it could kill your whole defense.
Guy says Blake James needs to answer for his crimes because the start of this homestand is atrocious. Yeah, I couldn't imagine, like, season tickets for Canes fans. Here we go, boys. What do we got? Bethune, Southern Miss, Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah. I mean, how do you expect
the middle of Tennessee? Not all of it.
Yeah, the Southern of Miss.
Like, come on.
What is this? Let me ask you: if it's a state school, do they get to bring in the whole state, or they just have to stay in the middle?
I think it's just the middle, dude. I think they got to stay with it. They got to stay in their lane, dude.
All right.
They got to stay in their lane. But I think that if I was a Canes season, I was like, man, I got to wait. How long do I got to wait till ACC play starts? Like, this is.
You probably needed it, though. You probably needed it.
They do feel like they got to fine tune some things. They definitely do.
Like,
and maybe they come out. Maybe they come out this week. They cut loose and they light up Middle Tennessee. And I don't know.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem. That, contrary to popular belief, when you go to a new job or a new company, you don't just pick up where you left off. There's a series of things you have to learn, what your players can or can't do. What part of what you're bringing over do you have the talent for or not? And a lot of times that works on trial and error. So, although I do think that Tyler may have a point compared to what he was doing last year, it's kind of hard to judge the coach on 3 weeks of football when you're telling us not to judge you. So I'm going to give it, if he tries to make the Miami offense look like Michigan's did last couple of years, shame on him. Okay, then I'll be on board. But I also know that when you're running in shorts and tights, when you're practicing against one another, when you're running one-on-one pass routes, sometimes your coach looks at that information that they're seeing every day and think said player can do certain things during the game. So you design plays based on this guy can do this guy can do that, we can pull this guard, all that. Then you start playing games. You might still feel that it works after playing Bethune-Cookman, after playing Southern Miss. Then you get to Texas A&M, where they're just as athletic, if not more athletic in some areas. Then you realize, wow, our guys aren't that fast. Man, our guy pulling, he ain't that quick. And then you have to make adjustments. So they have to learn too. And just because you didn't have success that third week, maybe you played a lot better in practice than you did in the game.
I definitely haven't watched this Canes team and thought, and I'm specific just on the skill guys on the outside, I don't think that they're overwhelmingly athletic. I think
they're not.
The running backs are impressive. But
tight end.
Yeah.
They don't have any separators. They don't have any true guys that, for example, you could always turn on the Canes game and somebody was outrunning somebody on
right.
You're right. Who's that guy?
Yeah, I've seen at points, Bethune was running past them willy-nilly at
that, and I told you that's one of the first things I told you.
Yeah,
wow.
That was pretty shocking to me. So to see that they only gave up 17 points to a team full of track stars.
Well, it feels like that team also had a problem. Yeah, they have a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a bum.
2 guys.
Clown X, Jimbo.
So I would like for everybody not to get overly frustrated about the loss of Texas A&M, although you should have won, okay? But you still got 9-10 games left, including the ACC. So there's time to turn it around. I don't want everybody to start getting frustrated on the system, the coaches, the players. Look, give it a minute. They haven't played in Texas A&M was the best competition they played since last year.
A couple of people texting in. One guy says, I have Cane season tickets. Besides the FSU game, I got fleeced.
True.
Another guy says, yes, I'm one of the season ticket holders. I feel like I got scammed. I'm sorry,
Really?
man. I'll tell you.
But
Go for the party. Don't.
Do you go to the games? Like, there's certain football games. You go more from the ambiance and the atmosphere than the game, right?
But no,
games
listen,
like Florida State or whatever, right? Like,
yeah, but to the comments we really have from Tyler Van Dyke, not just assumptions on Twitter or text, that's the part of the deal with the Canes. Like, you're not going to get that awesome atmosphere unless the matchups are good.
right.
And these matchups are garbage early on. Like,
now, I will say this: be careful with what you ask for. Okay,
don't lose.
I was at Michigan and we did that. Gave the people more bang for their buck. And we start the season off 1-2.
Well.
Now, by a total of 3 points, and we never lost another game. Had we had done the old, let's get some warm-up games.
Doing what Michigan's doing now.
Right. We started Notre Dame. Then we went out to Pasadena and played. Then Miami came to town. I think it was the year after they won the national championship. And then we went out to UCLA. That was our 3 warm-ups before Big Ten.
I don't think that they're missing Josh Gaddis too much so far, because even though it's been cupcake central for Michigan, they've put up 51, 56, and 59. So
yeah,
been a big scoring affair.
But
By
I
the
don't
way,
think
you guys
Gaddis was calling the plays.
I think you're hosting Little Tua this weekend.
I do think that Harbaugh calls the plays.
All right.
So
him in his khakis.
So
take a break.
So Gaddis never called plays.